complete the process that began in 1992 and the ethnic cleansing and the quest for the greater Serbia that was then in part ratified at Dayton when the two entities were formed and when the Republika Srpska was with the baffling assent of President Alija Izetbegović, which baffles me totally, created and allowed to exist, thereby rewarding the genocide and the perpetrators of the genocide as per their program, and making it in a sort of perverse way accepted by the Bosnian state and the Bosnian parliament and assembly. The assembly is supposed to be the assembly of the entire country, which is constitutionally described as indivisible. That's what it is. And that was the idea when the Bosnian army was set up in 1992. It was not to fight Serbs or Serbia. It was to preserve the unity of the country that declared its independence in April 1992. The Serbian project, conversely, was that in shorthand, that wherever there is a Serb is Serbia, be they dead or alive, which is a completely lunatic, mono-ethnic, mono-racial, fascistic formulation. That's their project, and that's why they set up the Republika Srpska in 1995. The Republika Srpska was supposed to be a place in which not a single Muslim or Croat or anybody else was allowed to live. They were either going to be killed or deported, and their houses and mosques burned, and the idea was that they never return. So what you've got now is a situation whereby the Republika Srpska is forever, exists, cannot be disbanded. The matter of accession to Serbia proper is however absurd the formalities of the border that may remain are, it will be part of Serbia, it will think Serbia, it will support the Serbian football team, Serbian currency will be valid there. You certainly have never been able to post a postcard in Prijedor or Banja Luka with a federation stamp on it. Won't arrive. So it'll be part of Serbia effectively. And what we have is the completion of the project began in 1992, but for the fact that these hundreds of thousands of people live there and are once again vulnerable, if not to genocide, vulnerable to persecution, vulnerable to discrimination in the workplace, vulnerable to the kind of apartheid system that operates, for instance, in the mines around Cerska, where the Serbs own the mines and Bosniaks can't work in them. It's as simple as that. It's apartheid South Africa. Except, of course, they did employ blacks in mines there. It's another matter. But so we will have a kind of apartheid. And, I mean, quite why Sarajevo is prepared to sort of allow this to happen, well, it baffles me. It's treason. And it actually, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of that crucial moment in 1995 when, and I think we've said this before, every war turns, and what happened was that the genocide was beginning to be rolled back. I don't mean that the dead were being brought back to life. I mean that the people who did it were on the run. The Bosnian army was advancing fast, in some cases with allies from Croatia. And Richard Holbrooke stepped in and said, the light is red, red, red. And President Izetbegović said, oh, okay then, sorry boys, you've got to stop.
Thank you, Ed. And just the last thing, and I'll let you go. Many people in Bosnia tonight are sitting in the coffee bars, drinking their coffees, listening to the turbo folk music from Serbia, etc., etc.
Well, I look, I mean, I've got nothing against having a beer or drinking a coffee, or being out with your friends. I do have a problem with Serbian turbo folk being played in Bosnia. It's like having sort of Nazi marching music, played in Israel. But no, I mean, people have a right to go out, they have a right to have coffee, they have a right to have a good time. I love it that Sarajevo and other places have come back to life. But, not at the cost of everything else, not at the cost of the 100,000 people who died and the 2 million who were driven out of their homes and all the raped and the traumatized and the people who were flung into the diaspora so violently and suddenly. There are moments, where you need a cold, sharp reminder of what's going on, and maybe not just loll about enjoying life, but have a good look round at what's going on, and realize that that what happens if the Republika Srpska is allowed to forever exist as it is with this vile flag is simply to insult your own identity, to spit on the graves of the dead, as they do, and they should not be joined in doing so by the people who have survived, who are lucky enough to have survived the plan whereby on the terrain of the Republika Srpska the idea was that no one should remain. They should all be either dead or gone. So I'm not in a very good mood, and I'm very grateful for your call to alert me to what's going on in Sarajevo, and this has made me miserable about my foot still, but angrier about something far more important.
So you would say that Bosnia is more important to you than, say, the health of your foot? Would that be?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, of course it is.
Well, I wish we had more.
At some point, they can fix my foot. If this amendment goes through, you can never fix Bosnia because it'll just be divided forever. And that was the original plan.
Thank you, Mr. Vulliamy. I think we need more Bosnians like you, and you won't be insulted if I call you Bosnian.
No, not at all. I take it as a compliment.
Okay.
It's probably the greatest compliment you can pay anybody.
What would you do if somebody was, partitioning your land behind your back? I say I would go and join that discussion and say, not in my name, or something. So I don't know. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm not actually English. I have much more Irish in me than I have English, and Irish and Welsh. And they partitioned Ireland in 1922, and it has remained partitioned ever since. It has been at war for most of that time, although not as cataclysmically as Bosnia was at war. But even after the period of peace, guess what's happened this last few days? The war looks like it's going to start again. It'll never go away. If you partition Bosnia, it'll never go away. It's that sort of absurd tradition of British diplomacy, actually, if in doubt, cut it in half. And where has that brought peace? Palestine? I don't think so. Ireland? I don't think so. Cyprus? I don't think so. Bosnia? It won't work. Partition the country? It won't work. It can't work. At least it can't for anyone who believes in peace and democracy. It can work very nicely indeed, thank you very much, for the likes of Radovan Karadzic, Ratko Mladic, and people like that, and those who are prepared to let them have their way on the Bosniak and the Croat side.
Well, you have your famous saying in Bosnian, so if you could say it to our audience.
Do Drine, do Save, do Une, all of them, one country from the rivers to the sea. That's what it is on the map. And anyone who tries to partition it is a fool, or if they're on the victim side, worse than a fool, a traitor. And anyone who tries to partition it from the other side, from the side of the perpetrators of the genocide, they know exactly what they're doing. They're just trying to create a mono-ethnic fascist state. Thanks a lot. Greetings to you all.
You too. Bye-bye.
Slobodna Bosna. Do Drine.